Alright everybody, as always, I'm Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 54 of our Isle of Man series, and things are moving along nicely. We're currently up into League 1. If you haven't gone back and watched the other 53 episodes, I don't know why you've started randomly at this point, but that's fine. Welcome, enjoy the series if you can. So to quickly recap, 7 consecutive promotions, 6 division titles in that particular time. In this episode, we're going to play the team that last year pipped us to that 7th divisional title in a row, which is AFC Wimbledon. And we're also going to have a massive game in the FA Cup, which is going to be fantastic for our finances if we can get through. What we'll do is we'll jump straight into the game and we'll have a look at like our recap, how we've done in the couple of games that we've played off screen. We'll go through some of the squad stuff as well. So, as you guys can see here, we're currently sitting in 11th spot, but the piece to keep in mind is that we're currently 19 games played. There's quite a few teams above us and below us that are down towards 16, 17 games played. I think that's because of like Carabao Cup commitments if teams have gotten through. It does mean that we've kind of like yo-yoed up and down a little bit. We are currently on an incline because of our most recent results. And of course, going back to that last episode, we drew 0-0 with Burton in a frustrating one. They were second bottom of the league. And then we lost 2-0 to bottom of the division, Forest Green. Which again is kind of the story at the moment. I think in scenarios where teams are setting up to counter against us, we are struggling quite a bit. We did return to form a little bit with a 1-0 win against Notts County. We then drew 1-1 with lower division Bolton in the FA Cup in that first round tie. We rotated a bit. Again, we went down to 10 men, which is like an ongoing theme of the series so far. We then drew 1-1 with them in the replay, got through on penalties. So we are still in the FA Cup and we'll play QPR as the second game in this episode. We beat 2-1. Crew 2-1, I should say, in the leasing.com trophy. That rounds out our group commitments for that. I think the next one is the second round where we'll play Fylde, who are, of course, a lower division side. But that was 3-0 to Shrewsbury, which was quite frustrating. They are one of the teams that came up with us last season. We know they're a good side, but we just played very, very poorly. There's 5.9s here, 6.4, 6.3s. We have had a lot of football that's come through, and that cup replay didn't really help us a tremendous amount, but we should still be doing better against teams like that. We did manage to turn around and get a 1-0 victory over Rochdale in a very tight fixture. It could have gone either way this one. They had their chances, but just couldn't find the back of the net. Which brings us up to this game against Wimbledon. I didn't mention at the start in the intro, they won League 2 last season. We were promoted out of 3rd position, the last of the automatic places. So it's a good test for us to see how we've progressed against them. And they are so far absolutely smashing it in the division. They're currently in 6th spot, so in the playoff places, they've had no bounce whatsoever in terms of League 1 to League 2 football. The other big thing that we're starting to see is some of the teams that, potentially struggled at the start of the year, the bigger clubs like QPR, Wigan, Hull, Sunderland, they are now actually starting to climb up the divisions very quickly. I think about 10 games in, QPR was sitting around the bottom spots and they've gone on a little run in the last 10 games or so, picking up points and starting to move up the division. So one, it's going to be tough that we have to play them in this episode, albeit in a cup fixture. But we're also starting to see the likes of Wigan pull away and definitely getting some differentiation between like the top 6 sides, the sides really challenging for promotion spots, and the rest that are just looking to fill out the top 10 positions. But we're sitting around 11th. I said top 10 would be a fantastic finish for us. We could still get it if we do start to turn around our form a little bit. And if we get a nice little run of wins, there's no reason we can't continue jumping up the table. So before we jump into the game, I'm showing you guys this bit because we've changed a couple of our player roles all the way across the 3 different mentalities. We're still going attacking from the off. I think if we're going down swinging, and the fact that we're scoring goals regularly is what's currently keeping us like kind of safely mid-table. But what we have done is change some of the roles associated. So instead of going to a stopper and a covering defender, we've got 2 central defenders on defend just to keep that line nice and level and nice and even. We've also gone to a Mazzala in midfield. Mazzala, however you want to pronounce it, is fine. They're on a supporting duty replacing that box-to-box role. I do desperately want to try and bring back those 2 combinations later in the season, but I think for now, given that we're trying to put together a good little run of form and that we've won most of the games this month, making that little change, that little adjustment has kind of freshened up the squad a little bit and gotten some good performances out of people. Up top, we've got record playing as an advanced forward. He's got all the traits to do it. It's not necessarily his favoured position. He can do pretty much everything that you need him to do in double figures. Passing and dribbling, I'm not really worried about. I just want him there mainly as a finisher. We will potentially, in a month or 2, once we get into the new year, switch these back to the previous roles that we used at him. But I just always think it's good to kind of vary stuff a little bit. It's good to mix it up. It's good to get different people out there. And it keeps the team fresh. It stops other teams from scouting us too well and knowing what we're going to do. It kind of gives us a little bit of variation. Otherwise, things progressing nicely. At the moment, as far as the play development side of it goes, Johnson and Taylor and Waderman are the 4-star players. Most players have moved up about a half a star since we picked them up. And of course, a few are getting hit here because they're playing outside of roles which would be determined as their favourite. If you put record back to be a poacher, he goes to 3.5 stars as well. So there's quite a few of our higher value, high potential prospects actually starting to come into their own and get a little bit more comfortable in the team. As we jump into the game itself and it loads up, it's probably worthwhile noting that we might actually do like a little bit of a transfer special for January. See if there is anyone still in that free transfer market that we could potentially bring in. It'll just depend what's out there. We can't really do too much more in terms of long-term loan signings. But that doesn't mean that there won't be people on the free transfer network that we potentially haven't been scouting or haven't been looking at or whatever else. So we can still try and strengthen the squad a little bit in January and see if we can kind of push ourselves up the table a little bit. The big off-season, the massive one, will be during the end of this year. Once we've got more players from academies dropping out across the country, those higher division teams will start releasing some of their best young talent. Hopefully, now that we're stable in League One, we'll be able to set ourselves up really well for Season 2. At that level and put ourselves in a good position for like a playoff push or a title push or whatever else, depending on what is out there and available. Looking at the two lineups, we're of course going with Johnson in goal, Preston Kelly at left back, right at right back, Taylor and McCluskey as the central defensive partnership, Hayward and Wademan as the central midfield two, Taylor on the left wing, Dean on the right, Knowles and Record up top. We've had quite a few guys go down with injuries, suspensions, international call-ups, that sort of stuff, but this is as close I think as we can get right now to a full strength lineup available. They're playing a 4-3-3, which they played last season very similarly. They've got Kalim Bayi is their central defensive captain who leads the line from back there. Still only 27. It feels like he's been around for a while given that we've played him a couple of times over the last few years. Anthony Hardigan in midfield, another one to come through their academy, only 26. So interesting to see that they're keeping together quite a bit of the squad that they have in the first version of the game. And up front, they've got Raquel Pike, a 29-year-old striker who came through the Huddersfield Youth Academy, played at Salford and Rochdale in the lower divisions. Now finds himself at Wimbledon and looks fairly solid, nothing spectacular. It'll be interesting to see how we get on here. We're going to go attacking, we are at home, we're going to passionately say, let's give the fans something to cheer. Nobody cares, so let's at least tell our defence assertively we have faith in them. And hopefully, if we can get an early goal, I think it's going to put us in good position to get good points. But they've got the first highlight. It's ball played forward from centre-back. Washta now, I think is how you pronounce it. Ball in behind for Pike, who we spoke about in the build-up, and he gets goal side, and Taylor's given away a penalty. Tyrone Taylor has given away probably about 5 penalties, I think, so far this season. And Pike's going to take, and the keeper guesses the wrong way. He pretty much went straight down the middle, a little bit to the right. But inside 3 minutes, we have gone a goal down, which doesn't do anything to increase the pressure on me. And I would love to get just one episode this season where we get 6 points in it. I know we did it earlier in the week, but I'm greedy. I'm hungry. I want another one. They've got another highlight here. Kane Vincent with the header straight at Johnson. Is that the end of the highlight, or are we going to see a bit of a counter-attack here? Ball to Wademan, now to Taylor. He goes long instead of going to the left, which actually good header from Record, brings Sam Taylor into play, and he beats one man. Can he get in the box, square it up to back stick? We had a man wide open in Ricky Dean at back post, and instead he shot from that wide area. Early doors of FM20, everyone was complaining about one-on-ones. What has killed me this game, I don't care about one-on-ones. I'm managing in the lower leagues. You miss one-on-ones, it happens. What kills me in this game is that shooting from wide areas. It just drives me mental. You don't see it in a game. Good players have composure. They find a ball into the box. They work a better shooting opportunity. They cut inside onto their right or wrong foot. It's just so frustrating, and it's still happening despite all the patches that they've added in. Got a long ball forward here. Good header from Preston Kelly, but it's going to get tidied up by Wells, the fullback. Sam Taylor going to recover possession for us. And then he loses it a couple of times. Then he wins it back a couple of times, and eventually it comes out through Hardigan in the Wimbledon midfield. Across to Barrow. Lils Langford at the base, looks for the switch out left to Washta, who's gotten in behind a couple of times here. Squares one back. Kane Viston get the strike. I've hit the microphone. I apologise if that's ruined any headphone users. Alfie Kane Viston with his 4th goal of the season. We're going to use our demand more shout here. And we should probably also, if attacking's not working, switch it up and go positive. Just to see if it boosts some of our stats here. So we're on 2 and 1. Let's see what we finish the half on. Ball in from Wademan from the wide area. McCluskey's there, and he gets the header back across goal and gets his first goal, not just of the season, but his first goal for the club as well, for the big central defender. Good effort. It was a wide area free kick. I didn't see the foul in the build-up. Wademan just hangs it back post. McCluskey with a good run, heads it back across the keeper. Maybe the keeper or the defence could have done a little bit better. They're all standing about a yard off the line. But maybe positive is a little bit more effective. I know it's a set piece, and set pieces are impossible to tell, but maybe it's a little bit more effective. They have got a highlight here, though. Callum Bayer with the flick-on header. Johnson reads it well and holds. There was a man rushing in. We've got a 2v2 if we get the ball out quick enough, boys. Instead, he goes short to Taylor. Ball forward towards Record, who does quite well to bring it down and turn. Plays out wide right to Dean. Steps inside, back to Record. Top of the box, looks for Taylor at the left-hand side. He gets the strike away again. And Nichols is pretty much equal to those ones all day. He's guarding his near post quite well. Dean's going to take the resulting corner, go short to Taylor, who loses out to Wells. We're going to have a throw in here. We're going to see that highlight? No, it comes to an end. And the referee calls half-time. So we've had 6 shots, 3 on target. So we have improved a little bit since moving to positive. 52% possession. They've had 10, 8, and 48%. Let's aggressively say much better showing from you in the second half. I know Wimbledon are a good side. I know they're in the top 6 spots, but up to 5th now if things stay as they are. But I do just want to see a little bit of character out of the side. All right, now I'm going to make 3 subs. We're going to bring off Lewis Wright at right back, who's struggling quite a bit. Preston Kelly's struggling on the other side as well. Wademan, who's picked up a yellow card. I'm a bit concerned about his intensity on the ball, and he'll probably pick up a second yellow. And Tyrone Taylor, who's both on a yellow card and has given away a penalty in this match. Keith Coates will come on at centre-back for Taylor. Barnes will come on at right-back for Lewis Wright. And Carl Robertson will come on in midfield. We'll move Hayward across to the Mazzai role and see how he gets on. Passionately, we're going to say our faith in you. Get out there and make a difference. And we're also going to use our Get Creative shout for the last half an hour or so. We've got to throw in here early. Preston Kelly, deep ball across. Glago with the header away. Falls to Dean, who found Barnes on the overlap, and he went backwards for whatever reason. McCluskey's recovered possession, though, and gone all the way back to Johnson. So our highlight so far has been starting in the corner and working our way all the way back to the goalkeeper. Good header from Record. He's done quite well, actually. Brings Taylor into it, and then Record finds him again. Enters the box. Squares it up towards Knowles, but it's cleared away. Robertson with the ball back in. Record's flicked it on. He's miles offside. There was no chance he was onside there. Yep, exactly what I thought. Why would you even show me that if he's going to be 10 yards offside for the build-up? Into the last 10 minutes now. We're going to use our demand more shout. They've immediately got a highlight. Hardigan with the header. It's Tony Wells, his first goal of the season, and a goal on his debut. Fantastic for him. Fucking regens. But as soon as we use that shout, if you get a highlight immediately, you're either scoring or conceding. Maybe Pike... Oh, no, there's a guy here standing on thing. I was going to say maybe Pike was offside there as the header came in, or obstructing the keeper. Got another highlight here. Coates to take. It's a long ball forward to no one in particular. Hardigan looks to switch it out. It's headed back to Barrow. Now Glagier. Good crossfield switch. Actually finds Bailey on the right-hand side. He steps past one challenge, squares it up to Pike, and Hayward eventually scrambles the ball clear for us. Maybe that last 30 minutes we should have gone attacking and really pressed our advantage once we got that goal back, but 3-1 defeat in the end. We had 8 shots, 4 on target, 50% of the ball. They had 16, 12, and 50%. They're very good, that Wimbledon side. Calmly, we're going to say, not happy with the performance out there, and at least most have responded positively. No one's cracked it too much. But I think the lesson that we're learning is that even though we put together a relatively good young side with a lot of high potential, there are some players that are playing above their level at present. And potentially that's just causing us some issues as we kind of like build ourselves into the division. In reality, you'd want all of your starters to be at least 2.5, 3-star in this scenario. And we've got some players that are significantly below that. But what we do have is an FA Cup fixture coming up, which we can switch our attention to through the magic of editing. We're going to jump forward to that game now and look at the 2 lineups. So just like that, we're a week ahead, and that we have made a couple of changes, mostly in midfield. I thought what I'd do is go back to like our original starting 11 just to see how it goes with Brown and Munoz coming back in. I just haven't really been super happy with the way we've controlled games. We've also switched it up and gone to our positive mentality, which you can see down the bottom here, just to see how it goes. We're away from home. Maybe I need to be like more attacking at home than just positive away from home, so that, you know, we can balance kind of, do we need to attack further and go after a goal and have that escalation point, or do we need to drop back a little bit and make use of our cautious mentality if defending a lead? So just really trying to apply like more game management principles than necessarily having like one set formation, which we try and do each all of the time. They're playing a 4-2-3-1, which looks relatively solid. They've got Byrne over here on the right wing back spot from Shamrock Rovers, ex-Man City Junior. He looks fairly solid as well at this level. They've also got Hudson on the left wing, who they picked up from Bradford. He looks to be a fairly solid option, 16 dribbling and 16 agility. We'll have to keep an eye on him if he starts skipping past players and all sorts. They got Latiba Dare, who we looked to try and pick up a couple of different times from Man City when his contracts were up at both Man City and Crewe when he played there. Looks to be a very good central defensive option if you can pick him up for your own saves. Still only 26 years of age. And Harry Burgoyne, who is also a fantastic keeper that we've looked at previously as well. Comes through the Wolves Academy. 18 aerial reach was the big one that jumped out at me when we were trying to pick him up. 17 jumping reach. He could have been a basketball player if he had to really put his mind to it. But even then, they have struggled this year. They are lower than us in the league. So I would like to think once we get to a cup game, even with a rotated squad, we can do quite a bit against them. Certainly, we're going to use this one. Let's show what this blah, 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 blah. I'm going to try again. Let's show the world what this team is about, shall we? And that one has finally come out of my mouth correctly. We're wearing a very sharp black and yellow kit as well, pinballing around here, and Daniel Knowles gets his 9th goal of the season, and I think probably like the first goal he's scored in about 6 games or so, I think. Good ball in here from Dean, and I think it's initially Taylor that goes up for the header. No, it's Knowles himself, and then Taylor gets tackled by Gibbons, and thankfully Knowles stays on his toes. His feet are right there, and he smashes that one home to give us an early advantage. Corner routine here to be taken by Byrne, who we spoke about in the build-up. Good header away by Brown. It's only far as Burn again. He skips past one challenge at the top of the box and gets the strike away. Thankfully, Johnson was on his toes, got across and claimed. Deep free kick here, taken by Hudson across to Hesketh. Back to Hudson again, who gets into the box. Squares it up for Okoli, where he's closed down well by the defence. There was 3 or 4 men around him. Then Malione's strike from distance, pushed over the crossbar by Johnson. From the resulting corner, they've changed up the taker. It's going to be Hudson, the winger, to take. Good header away. Sam Taylor could recover here, and we might go 3v3 at the back if we hit the ball correctly here. He's 1v1, and Malione, with an excellent challenge, to be fair to him, puts it into touch and saves the counter-attack. Tyrone Taylor's picked up his customary yellow card, which is picking up pretty much every game at the moment. I didn't put Keith Coates on the bench. I probably should have done that. We only have a 5-man bench, of course, for the FA Cup games. With about a few minutes to go before half-time, I'm going to use our demand more shout, just to give everyone some focus. Good flick on header here. Taylor's going to recover and gets inside his man. Instead, he goes to strike from distance. It wasn't really on. Maybe could have looked to square that one up to some of the on-rushing midfielders that were there to support. Deep free kick should be the last action of the half. It's into a good area, and Letibadair, who we spoke about in the build-up, has his first goal for the season and his first goal for QPR. Not a bad header. Could the keeper maybe have done more? Defending's not great. That defensive line didn't drop quite at a level pegging. Who was that just there? McCluskey went too early, and maybe Johnson could have stayed on his line there. Came out a little bit far, and I think eventually more chipped than anything else. Assertively, let's say, pleased with how things are going. Let's try and be positive with it. I'm looking at this morale getting back towards the yellow. We need to try and push that back up north again as quickly as we can. Throw in here for QPR. Malione loses out to Taylor. Record gets the ball on halfway. If he can turn away, we're going to be in a good position. Pascal's gone through him, and he's already on a yellow card. They might be down to 10 men here, and if they are, I think that means we're going to shift it up and go to our attacking mentality, start to try and press the advantage a little bit. And while we're doing that, let's make some subs as well. Ricky Dean really struggling on the right. We'll bring on Clive Williams to deal with that. McCluskey struggling at the back. We'll give Carl Robertson an opportunity. You can see here, not his approved or not his preferred role in formation, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's passionately tell them both we have faith in them, and they both seem to have responded positively, which is great. Let's also use our Get Creative shout. Try and inspire everyone to get another opportunity, put the ball in the back of the net, and carry us through to the next round of the Cup. We're into the last 10 minutes now, and I'm in that weird position where I'd rather almost lose than actually go to a replay, because a replay doesn't help us in any respect. We've got way too much football on at the moment as is. 3 minutes to be added on here, and it looks like we're going to go to a replay, which is very disappointing. 8 shots, 5 on target, 49% possession for them. No further highlights after the red card. We had 10 shots, 6 on target, 51% of the ball. Everybody thought we'd get beaten today. Well done on proving them wrong. I guess that kind of shows where we're currently at. But QPR, obviously a big side and doing quite well. See here, FC Isle of Man draw against 10-man QPR. Letibadair gets the Man of the Match award for his goal. And that does mean that with that replay, we're going to play QPR 3 times inside a week. We'll have that game on Tuesday, which I'm going to do off screen. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Then we play them in the league as well next Saturday. But what I think we might do is potentially tomorrow continue our cup run. If we get through this game against QPR, there should be a game somewhere in here where we're going to potentially play our 3rd round cup fixture, which is when the majority of the larger divisions teams actually drop into it. And there's potential there to get a Premier League side also, which would be great for the club. But if we don't, we'll probably come back and do maybe the game against Coventry and Scunthorpe, so 3 or 4 games ahead, just to continue our league season and hopefully finish the week off with 2 decent results. Scunthorpe currently in 11th, Coventry currently in 16th. It's been a long week. It's been a hot day. I am thrilled to be able to bring more episodes to everybody each week. I'm thrilled to be able to record and edit and release in the same day. That part's fantastic. But I've spent the majority of this episode tongue-tied, which will hopefully improve tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Anything could happen on a Friday. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That is the portion that means the most to me and that I appreciate the most. If you've enjoyed the content, if you want to support it more, you can go that little extra step by either subscribing to the channel to be kept up to date on all our future videos as they're released. We're slowly edging towards 200 subs, a little by little each day. Or alternatively, you can drop a like on this video to please that YouTube algorithm and get more views on it and get more people in the community in the comment section, all that sort of great stuff. You can check out the links just over on that side there to our Twitter at @InTheMixer_FM for all our interactions with the community. Or if you want to reach out directly, my DMs are always open. And you can also check out twitch.tv/InTheMixer_FM. We do a regular Sunday night stream where we do our Employee of the Month save. Sunday morning if you're in the UK, super early Sunday morning if you're in North America. But like I said at the start, thank you so much for watching. I've been Sean and I'll see you all again in the Mixer.